This is holy ground. This is the place where they fell, literally where they all were slaughtered together. Who were they? They were the bishops, priests, religious, who had been confined here for the last 2 weeks or so in the Carmelite Abbey behind me, where they could be visited, given food, but were guarded by soldiers. On the 2nd of September, a rumour went around that the French army had been defeated. In fact, this rumour wasn't correct. But a revolutionary mob, obviously inspired by somebody, came here, disregarded the presence of the so-called guards, and simply demanded that these persons be asked whether or not they had taken the revolutionary oath, which in practice allowed for the clergy simply to be under the domination of the state. If they said no, that they had not taken the oath, they were then forced down the stairs behind me, and on either side of these steps there were people waiting for them who simply hacked them to death. The bodies were then taken, the heads, and thrown in a well further down here in the garden. But this is an important Lasallian place, because among those put to death that day was Brother Solomon Leclerc. Solomon Leclerc was a student of the brothers in Boulogne, very successful, who was sent from his own home here to Paris to continue his studies of commerce. Fell in with bad companions, couldn't resist what they wanted to do, and very unhappy with himself, met one day in the street with one of his former teachers, one of the brothers. The brother saw that he was in distress, talked with him, and eventually the young man returned home and told his father he wished to become a brother. He became a brother, had very special training under the great Brother Agathon, became his secretary, and then during the period of the Revolution moved freely between here in Paris and Milan, attentive to the needs of the congregation. He was among those slain on this day, and we often think of his life. The Blessed Brother Solomon, as we call him, the young man who could not resist the influence of the bad companions, was strong enough here to die as a martyr for what he believed in. But it's a Lasallian place in more than one sense, because long before, in 1706, John Baptist de La Salle himself had come here to this very Carmelite Abbey to make a long retreat. He was being persecuted in Paris. The writing masters had succeeded in suppressing all the schools. There was opposition also from many of the clergy. And so he came here to try and sort out for himself what he should do next. For 12 days here he made a retreat. We know that in this very monastery at the same time was Brother Lawrence of the Resurrection, a Carmelite famous for his writings on interior prayer, which we have in English. De La Salle himself had written eloquently on the same subject in his first Duties of a Christian under the title Prayer of the Heart. This place then is a very, very important place, holy ground indeed for all people who suffer for their beliefs. Holy ground, this is the place where the first Lasallian brother gave his life for the faith.